get my chair up to the right height. Okay, I think we're good. That's a little bit better. Maybe a little bit too high. I don't know. It's not high enough for the webcam, but it's like the laptop I have down below and the camera's up above. So it's not really the best view of me, if there is such a thing. See, who's watching? Cosma. Cosma, welcome. So I have the chat this time. I'm gonna do something a little bit different. I have the just gonna click continue here.
보건 선생님 곧 오실 거야. 일단 상태부터 보고 얘기하자.
Okay, I'm gonna okay, let's see. I'm getting something ready. Hey Keith. So what I've got here, I've got a little bit better setup than last time. Before I wasn't able to see the chat. So I have the chat open on another window so I can see your chat while I'm playing the game now, no problem. The other thing is what slowed me down a lot is trying to give a natural translation of something that's not written for English speakers. It's just written in Korean. So how do you translate longer sentences that are written in Korean for Koreans to read into English that sounds natural? It takes a very long time. So that was slowing me down. So I decided, you know, instead, I'm just going to have the game open in English in a separate window. So that's what I have right now. I'm just getting to the spot. Okay. I got to the spot. So I wish I could show you. Actually, you know, maybe I can show you. Okay. I don't know how well you're going to be able to see this, but okay. So I've got for here on my computer. I've got my computer here. But then I've also got this on my screen here. And so that way I can watch it in English alongside. It's someone did a gameplay, like a walkthrough of it. Now, I don't know how much it's going to match up. I'm pretty sure the subtitles aren't really going to match up perfectly. I can already see this one doesn't match, but that's okay. That's okay. It should be helpful for the longer explanations. Like something really short like this is no problem. This kind of sentence is super short, but we get longer sentences with like weird slang in it sometimes. And for those ones, I think it'll be helpful. So that's what we're going to be doing for today. Yeah. I don't want to play in English, but like I said, we're playing in Korean, but I'm going to advance the story with the English. That way, if we ever get to a long sentence that's really annoying, I'll at least have a frame of reference to speed things up so we're not spending like 10 minutes on a single line. Okay, anyway, we'll just get started. Let's get started. Okay, so this is where we were from last time. 보건 선생님 곧 오실 거야. So that's the health teacher kind of, the assistant. I don't know a good way. Yeah, anyway, health teacher, we'll just say. And the English translation I can see is they refer to it as the nurse. Sure. That's like the school nurse specifically. 곧 오실 거야 is coming soon. 일단 상태부터 보고 얘기하자. So first let's see how you are and then let's talk. And the English translation says here, let's first make sure you're all right. Like it's a good translation. It's really natural. But yeah, it's not gonna match the Korean at all. So 일단 상태부터 보고 얘기하자. So first let's check to see how you are. First let's check out your 상태, your condition, and then we'll talk is what she actually says. Okay, why are there flashes? Oh, kids are taking pictures on their cell phones. Okay. Oh, I have to advance it.
이게 무슨... 너희들 뭐 하는 짓이니?
Ah, interesting. Okay, so in English it's like, everyone stop, put your phones away. But that's not what she says at all. 이게 무슨 짓이야 is what it's short for. So what in the heck is this, basically? 무슨 is like what kind of, and then typically when you're mad, you'll just say 무슨, and you won't say the thing you're referring to. 무슨 is what. So like what something is this, but they'll just say 무슨 without saying the thing. 무슨 짓, 무슨 like 색깔, what color, what something. They'll just say 이게 무슨, and they imply what they're saying after. It's like what the heck is this? 너희들 뭐 하는 짓이니? So like what the heck are you guys doing? 짓 is 것. It's a thing, but it's a negative thing. So it's like a negative act. So you wouldn't use cheat for like someone else if you're trying to be polite. It's definitely going to be informal. It's strong. But yeah, it's like, what the heck are you guys doing? Okay, I'm going to advance to the next line in the English, and then we'll go advance to the next line in the Korean.
얘들아 그만! 핸드폰 집어넣어!
Everyone stop. 그만. 핸드폰 집어넣어. Put your phones away. Ah, so the English translation, they actually just skipped that other line and they slapped it together because I see it goes into something else. Anyway, 집어넣다 is like put away your phones. But they're still taking photos. 선생님의 호통에도 불구하고, so despite the teacher's shouting, let me check if there's a better translation for that. Yeah. Specifically, it's like shouting when you're angry. So despite the teacher's angry shouting, 에도 불구하다 is the expression like despite. 에도 불구하고, so in spite of, I guess. It's a little fancy, but it's really common. 학생들은 마치 좋은 소재거리를 얻었다는 듯 흥분된 표정으로 촬영을 계속했다. So the students 얻었다는 뜻, as if they had gotten some good, 좋은 소재거리. 소재 is like material or like something to do, like ingredients, material, kind of like that. And 거리 is like something of that item that you put after. Like if you have like 웃음거리, it's like a laughing stock. It's like something to laugh at. 소재거리 is like something for making material from. So they translated it in English as a scoop, a big scoop. But they've got some good, I think I translated it as like good content. 얻었다는 뜻. So like the students were not smiling. 흥분된 표정으로, like with excited expression. 표정 is like a facial expression. So they kept 촬영. They continually kept filming with excited expressions as if they'd gotten some good material, is what it means. Small. Oh, hey, Small. Oh, that's right. Yeah, I saw your name, Small, and it didn't click that Small's here. Yeah, I always find it weird how different the English translation are. Bad acts for 짓. Yeah, it's used to refer to a bad act, but it doesn't have to be like really bad, but it's like a negative way of looking at an act. So it's the speaker is considering it to be something bad, even though it doesn't have to be necessarily actually a bad thing. It's just like a way to kind of put it down. Yeah, I'm just gonna always advance the English one first, that way we can compare it.
그만들 해!
Stop, everyone. 그만해. And the 들 just makes it. This is something kind of interesting. I actually put this on my upcoming cheat sheet for the particle 들, but 들 can do something interesting in that not only can it attach to nouns, but you can also attach it to any sort of phrase. And when you attach it to a phrase, it means you're saying the phrase to each person. So like 안녕들 하세요 is like saying 안녕하세요, 안녕하세요, 안녕하세요. That's what it makes it. Instead of just 안녕하세요 to anyone in general, hello. Now it's hello, hello, hello. So saying 그만하세요, 그만해 is like stop, 그만해, stop. But it's like stop everyone, 그만해. But if you say 그만들 해, it's like hey, stop. It's kind of like you're individually addressing everyone. If you ever wonder what the nuance is, it's only used in speech though, and it's less common. Usually you just say 그만해. Like 다들 그만해, you can just use like that. You can just address everyone and then say what you want to say. You don't have to put to in the expression. I like that this playthrough in English though, they're not rushing, so that way I can actually kind of match it up. Okay.
에이, 왜 그러세요? 이거 교사가 학생 감금하고 막 그런 거 맞죠?
Hey, it's like, come on. Hey, it's like the Fonz. Hey. Probably no one knows what I'm talking about. You might have seen Happy Days reruns. I used to watch it as a kid. I mean, I didn't see the show because it finished airing like before I was born, but the reruns were on TV all the time. Nick at Night. Is it more common than Yorobun? No. Usually you use, for Yorobun would be like the polite version. Like Yorobun is like everyone. You can use that in a speech. You can use that for strangers. But if you're talking with your friends, they use 다들, 다, like all, 다, and then 들. And then you can say 다들, and that's the equivalent of Yorobun. But it also is the equivalent of just everyone. When you're not, like Yorobun is also used for addressing people, whereas 다들 can be used for addressing people, or it can be used to refer to people commonly. It's like you'd use your friends. 그냥 다들 이상한 짓 뭐 하고 다녀. They keep like doing some weird things. Like they, 다들, all of them, kind of like that. But yeah. 왜 그러세요? Like what do you do? Like why are you acting like this? 이거 교사가 학생 감금하고 막 그런 거 맞죠? What this is like a professor here locked up a student, and then 막 just like they did kind of that kind of thing, right? The English translation actually is kind of okay. It says, "Isn't this, that like a teacher locking up a student and doing stuff, right?" So he's kind of implying that that something else happened after the student got locked up by the professor, and that's why he like pauses. He's like, "막 그런 거 맞죠?" Kind of like that kind of thing, right? Okay, go to the next one. So I'm gonna change the playback speed to double time.
이런 악질적인 사건은 대대적으로 알려야죠.
This kind of evil. Let me check if there's a better word for 악질적. Yeah, evil or wicked. So this kind of like wicked or evil 사건, like a case situation. Like they use 사건 for anything that happens. So like an event can also be that. So this kind of like evil event, 대대적으로, like widely. So 알리다 is to inform, to like tell. So like we gotta just spread this out. This sort of evil thing, we just gotta spread it out as far as we can, right? Like we gotta spread it out widely. So he's like, we gotta tell everyone, is what it implies. And the English translation says, "The world needs to know the truth, wouldn't you agree?" Which, yeah, it's a fairly good natural translation for it, though. Yeah, he didn't say anything like that in the actual Korean. Okay.
입 다물어. 이게 지금 장난 같니?
입 다물어. So don't ever say this. Anytime I teach something that's a little bit harsh, or we've seen some swears kind of in here, anytime I go over that stuff, I'll let you know. Never say 입 다물다. 다물다 is to like shut. So it's like to do this, to bite down and hold. So like shut your mouth is essentially what she's saying. So like shut your mouth. 지금 이게 장난 같니? And I should say that that's stronger in Korean than it is in English, because you wouldn't say that kind of thing to someone, but she's the teacher, so it's okay. But it is a bit stronger to say something like that. 지금 이게 장난 같니? Does this seem like a joke to you now? Does this seem like a joke? Yeah, shut your mouth, pretty much. It's not the worst way to say it though. There's another expression that means shut your mouth, which is stronger. Yeah, there are few. I will not say them, but if we see them in the game, I will point them out. Okay, he doesn't say anything. We don't need to translate that. Okay, that's just a sigh.
얘들아, 지금 친구가 많이 아픈 상태야. 사진보다 현주가 무사히 치료받게 도와주는 게 먼저야.
얘들아. Okay, everyone here. 지금 친구가 많이 아픈 상태야. So you're right now your friend, literally your friend, but you can use 친구 to refer to anyone who's anyone's friend. And it does mean friend literally, but it's not being used to mean like our friend here. It's not like that. It's more like someone who's the same age as you. So a better translation for 친구 in this case would be classmate. But if it's not a class, then it would be another student or maybe another person, right? 친구 can actually just mean person in that sort of sense. It just means someone the same age as someone. Whether you're like someone same age as me or someone the same age as you. So just know that she's not really being like one of your friends is really, she's not really saying like that. She's being like one of your classmates is what she means. 많이 아픈 상태야. One of your classmates is really sick, really hurt right now. Oh, so the ni ending, yeah. The ni ending is a slightly feminine ending. So it's not like a soft, cutesy ending, I should say that. It's a strong ending, but it's a feminine style, a softer, strong ending, if that makes sense. It's not as harsh as others. So she's being like strict, but she's not sounding like mean right now. She's like, hey, do you think this is funny? Is kind of what she's saying. She's not actually yelling like, do you think this is funny? Like she's not doing that. She's just being very strict right now, is how she's talking. 사진보다 현주가 무사히 치료받게 도와주는 게 먼저야. Before taking a picture, 먼저야. What is first is helping 현주 to safely 무사히 치료받다, to get treatment. So basically, before you take photos, what's more important than taking photos is helping her to get treated safely, is what she's saying literally. And let's check the English translation. At the moment, it's imperative that Hyunju receives proper medical treatment. It comes before you taking photos of her. Oh, this is a terrible translation, because she didn't say it at all like this. It's imperative that. No, what she's saying is like, if we do a natural translation, let me try. Dude, right now, what's a lot more important is her getting help. Is the natural way of what she says. Right now, more important than you getting your photos is she needs help. Like helping her to get treatment. Anyway. Okay, I'm just going to advance to the next one. This is better. I like having this translation up on the screen so we can go through these longer sentences more quickly when I have to make a full translation of them.
SNS에 사진 올리는 건 그 후에 모든 진상이 밝혀지고 나서도 늦지 않아.
Okay. English sounds super flat. Yeah, stern. Stern's a good word there. Peer. Yeah, peer is another way you can translate 친구. Just so if you hear 친구, it doesn't really mean friend all the time. In fact, that's a good thing to think about in general, is that 친구 doesn't really necessarily mean friend, although some people do use 친구 as a friend and not so much about the age. But typically and traditionally, and still most of the time today, when someone says the word 친구, they don't actually mean your friend. They actually just mean someone who's the same age as you. Literally, just someone who's the same age as you in Korean age. And that's it. Like, it doesn't even have to be your friend. Like, they'll say, yeah, 친구야. Like, you're just saying, hey, friend. But you don't really mean, like, friend. It's kind of like saying, hey, bro. Right? Like, you're not really saying your brother. You're just saying someone who's the same situation as you. You can call him your bro. Right? It's kind of that sort of feeling when you say 친구. So you'll hear it used instead of person, 사람, because 사람 is very impersonal. It's like, 여기 거기 다른 사람이 많아. 거기도 사람 있어. You can say, 거기도 친구 많아. 거기도 친구 있어. 네 친구 있어. Your friend's over there. Like, you're someone the same age as you is over there. So it's a little more friendly than just saying 사람, which is very impersonal. Okay, so SNS에 사진 올리는 건 그 후에. So SNS would be, that would be like Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. So like social media. So posting the social media and that's for later. 모든 진상이 밝혀지고 나서도 늦지 않아. It's not, and you won't even be late, even if it's after all of the truth is revealed, is what she literally says. So like, don't worry, like you can, even if you upload this after all the truth is revealed, after we figure out everything, it's still not going to be too late. 늦지 않아, it's not late. And the English says, once we figured out what happened, that's not too late, right? again, not an accurate translation, but it's good to have a reference. So let me see if I can make a better translation for this. You can upload it to your social media later. No, even if you post it to your social media after we figured everything out, it's not going to be too late. There we go.
억지로 도와달라고도 끝까지 침묵하라고도 안 할게. 사실이 밝혀질 때까지만 기다리자. 부탁한다.
I'm not going to force you to help her. Or to help. Actually, in this case, help me, because 도와달라, which is to the speaker. So I'm 억지로 도와달라고도, so even saying help me. 억지로 is by force, like to force someone. 억지로 하다 is like to do something by... 억지로 시키다 is to force someone to do something. 끝까지 침묵하라고도 안 할게. So 침묵하다 is to be silent. So I'm not going to say 안 할게, 말 안 할게. I'm not going to tell you to be silent in forever. 끝까지 is like until the end, literally, but it's like forever. So basically, I'm not going to force you to help me or tell you to keep quiet forever. So like she's saying it's okay, you can upload this to your social media, but at least like I'm not going to force you to help. I'm not going to force you to keep quiet forever, but 사실이 밝혀질 때까지만 기다리자. 부탁한다. Let's wait, 기다리자, until 까지만. 밝혀지다 is to be revealed, to be literally to be brightened is what they say, but that means like to be revealed. 사실, the truth. So until at least, so let's wait only until the truth is revealed. 부탁한다, I ask you, I request. But that's what you can translate as like, please, I'm asking you, is what he would say. So the English says, I promise you, I won't force you to help me or keep you silent. Okay, but please, let's just save it until we know what's going on. Again, not what she said in Korean. She said once it's all figured out is what she's saying in Korean, but not a terrible translation. Yeah, apologies, I haven't done a live stream in English sounds super flat. Yeah, it depends on the translator, and I agree. I mean, I kind of feel that I'm not going to like criticize it too much because really translation's a different job. Interpretation is also another different job that I've done translation before, and it's really hard. Like you write it, you translate it, and then you have to go back and think about it for a long time. And if you have a game and you're translating like thousands of lines, it's like you're translating a book, essentially. It's also possible that the person translating didn't have the game to play as a reference, that they only had a Excel worksheet with the Korean line like out of order and then the English lines, and like it would just say the character that's saying this line and that's it. And they would have to just kind of figure out how they would translate that without being able to play the game. That's totally possible. Like they were still working on the game and they had them translate it. But if I had the game to play, I could have done a better job, I think. But it would take a long time. Okay, so the teacher, Park, 흥분을 가라앉히다. 가라앉다 is an expression like to calm down, to subside. 가라앉히다 is the causative version of that, to make calm. So they made calm specifically there. 흥분, their excitement. Now notice, do not use the word 흥분 to say excited unless you actually mean like elated, excited, or like, what's going on? Like that kind of excitement is 흥분. But if you use 흥분 to say you're excited about like, oh, I'm excited for somebody to come out, as in like I'm waiting for it, actively waiting for it, that has a different meaning. But here in this case, it's okay because all the students are like going crazy excitement. That's okay to use 흥분 for. So 부탁하듯. So she asked for them to calm down. Asked for them to calm down. But 하지만, however, 단호하게 말했다. But she still said it. Seriously, straightforward. So she said it in a straightforward way, but asking for them to, calm down, calm their nerves. And the English says, Miss Park managed to calm the students down, and her words, although a request, were resolute. Okay. But yeah, kind of, because it says 부탁하듯. So like, it's like she requested them to calm down, but she said it firmly. She said it straightforward. So that one's actually an okay translation. Oh, not complaining, just definitely feels more emotional in Korean. Yeah, they could have done a better job with that in English, but it would have just taken more time. Like, okay. 아이들은 아쉽다는 표정을 감추지 못했지만 마지 못해 자리에 앉으며 핸드폰을 집어넣었다. So the students weren't able to 못했지만, so they could not 감추다, like hide their 아쉽다, like oh that's too bad. 표정, their expressions that say it's too bad. So the kids couldn't actually hide their expressions that they were disappointed. So they couldn't hide that they were disappointed, but 마지 못해 자리에 앉으며 핸드폰을 집어넣었다. But I don't know how you translate 마지 못해. Like they didn't want to do it. Reluctantly. There we go. Reluctantly. 자리에 앉으며. So they sat down in their seats and 핸드폰을 집어넣었. They put their phones away. So they couldn't hide their disappointment, but reluctantly returned to their seats and put away their phones. There's a natural translation. Let's see what the English says. Everyone was disappointed. Okay, I mean, they were disappointed, but it's specifically talking about that they looked disappointed, but okay. But grudgingly returned to their seats and put their phones away. Oh, okay, close enough. Good. And there's no right answer for translating, just so you know, like you can translate it any way you want. It's technically correct because translation's for people who don't speak the language. If you speak the language, you don't need the translation.
같은 교사라고 편드는 거야 뭐야?
같은 교사라고 편드는 거야 뭐야? So, is she taking the side of the other professor because she's also a professor is what a natural meaning is, but literally is 같은 교사. So the same professor literally, but it means 같은, like she's also a professor. So she is a 같은 교사. So she is a similar 교사 as that professor. So because they're both professors, 라고, because of that, 편들다 is to take someone's side. 편드는 거야 뭐야? So like, is she like taking a side or something because they're both professors? And the English translation says, is she protecting him just because he's a fellow teacher or something? Okay, there's no implication of protecting. It's 편들다 is just to take someone's side. Yeah, it's not like protecting, it's just taking someone's side. Anyway, it's okay though. Let's go to the next one.
에이, 이게 조회수 얼마짜린데 포기할까봐?
Okay. Come on. Hey, 이게 조회수 is views. So 조회 is a view and 수 is a number. So views, like number of views, we'd say. 얼마짜리인데. So how many views is this worth? 짜리 is something worth a certain amount of something. So like 얼마짜리 is how much is it worth? So how many views is this worth? And 포기할까봐, and I'm gonna give up. So I guess I'm giving up, even though how many views is this gonna get? So like, what? This is gonna get so many views, and I'm supposed to give up? Is kind of a natural translation. And the English one says, as if I was gonna give up, this will get me like so many views. Why did they add in the like? She didn't say anything like that. But whatever, they added in, this will get me like so many views, but she never said that sort of expression. But anyway, whatever. So she's still gonna record it.
내 뒤에 숨어서 찍어. 이따가 공유해주기다.
Okay. 야, 내 뒤에 숨어서 찍어. So hide behind me and film it. Hey, 야. So 야 is just like a very casual way of saying, hey. I should note that 야 is super 반말. If there is a thing, there's some words in 반말 besides swears that are below the regular level of 반말, and even if you're speaking to someone in 반말, you still would not use unless you are actually the same age or you're older than that person. Even if someone says, hey, we're close friends, speak casually to me, you still do not use certain parts of 반말 to that person, believe it or not. One of the most, an exception would be is if you're dating or you're married and you agree to speak like that, then it's okay, you know, whatever. If you agree you want to say no to your wife and she's older than you, whatever, you go ahead and do it. But outside of a specific agreement like that, like family or close relationship, you would not say the word no to someone unless they're actually the same age as you. Even if you're using 반말 with them every day, you only use 반말 to each other and they use no to you, they're older than you, you cannot and should not ever use no back to them. It's actually rude. So it's like, hey, 반말 includes no, but it doesn't include ya, it doesn't include no, it doesn't include swears unless that's your relationship. But really, like, a few things are off limits, and that's one of them. So ya is also a very rude way of saying hey unless you're on the same level as them. It's like, yeah, hey, 내 뒤에 숨어서 찍어. So like, hide behind me and film it. 이따가, so a little bit later, 공유해 주기다. So you're gonna send it to me. 주기, like the 기다 ending, or I should just say the key ending specifically, is used when you're like making bets or you're making agreements about something. Like, hey, send it to me after. Like, I'm gonna do something. Call, you got it? Like you're in, kind of like that expression. So, all right, you're sending it to me later. And the English translation seems to reflect that. Hey, go behind me and record it, but share it with me after. Yeah, that's a good way to translate.
이나연, 정우진.
So she's just calling their names here. Ah, you startled me. But you don't really have to translate it as you startled me, but it literally means 깜짝이야, I was surprised. So I think in English they just translate it as ah. We might translate it as something like dude.
선 넘지 마라.
So 선 is a line and 넘다 is to go past. So literally don't pass the line or don't cross the line is what it literally means. You can also think of it as meaning to go too far. So this is a regular Korean expression. It just means to go too far, like to do something a little bit too much. It can be in a relationship, like going too far in a relationship too fast, or it can also just be doing something that's inappropriate, like going beyond what you should be doing. So hey, don't go, like, take it easy. You might translate it as naturally.
알았어.
Oh, okay.
반장이면 단가.
Okay. 반장이면 단가? So 반장 is the class president, the class leader. So the class will have, like, you know, a class president we'd have in America. That's just the person in charge of the class, like, you know, doing roll call or helping the teacher with that, collecting papers, that sort of stuff. So in Korea they have that too. So that's called the 반장. Literally 반 is room and 장 is leader. So 반장, 이면 or 면, 다. Literally, if it is something, then that is 다. That is everything. Is a grammar expression that means, is that all? Does that make up for everything? Like, all you gotta be is a class president, you just do whatever you want? Is kind of the meaning and implication of that. It's like, 반장이면 단가? Wow, like, you're just a class president, now you control everything, is the implication of that.
감금이라고요?
She was locked up? You say 감금, locked up? Let's see. And a few other people are watching right now. Just say hi if you're watching so I know who it is. I know Keith's here, Cosma's here, Small's here. Who else is watching? Just say hi. I'm just curious. Unless it's like 3 ghosts watching, that would be really creepy. In which case, don't say hi. Okay. 쓰러진 현주를 마주한 보건 선생님은 잠시 숨을 멈췄다. So the 보건 선생님 is, like, here I said, like, school nurse or Oh, hey, Caro and Gib. Lumendio, thanks for saying hi. I was just curious who else was here. Because I was like, it says 6 people are watching, but I only saw chats from 3 people. So I'm like, oh, who else is watching? Don't be shy. Just say hi. You don't have to participate. I'm not going to force you to do stuff. But yeah, I was just kind of curious who's watching. Thanks. So the health teacher, the literally, or the nurse, the school nurse, 마주하다 is to make eye contact with, or to see. So the nurse who saw Hyunju, who had collapsed. 쓰러지다 is like to faint or to collapse. So the nurse saw Hyunju, and 잠시, for a moment, 숨을 멈추다, literally to stop breath. So to stop breathing. But it's not like she's not holding your breath. It's like that. So let's see what the English translation says. The school nurse's heart skipped a beat when she saw Hyunju on the floor. It's not really that. That's like, skipped a beat is like when you're like like from love. I think that's usually when it's used for, but yeah, it's kind of like that. Maybe was shocked. Anyway. 준영이에게 사정을 듣고 올라오셨겠지만 실제 눈 앞에 벌어진 일을 마주한 보건 선생님의 얼굴에 단혹감이 가득했다. So, although the nurse had 올라오다, come up, although she'd come up, as in from her office up to the class, after 사정을 듣고, hearing what had happened, 사정 is like situation, 듣고, so after hearing what had happened to 준영이, or sorry, from 준영이. However, even though she already knew what had happened before she came up, basically, 실제 눈 앞에 벌어진 일을 마주한 보건 선생님의 얼굴에 당혹감이 가득했다. So this is a longer sentence, but basically, the teacher's face was full of an expression of 당혹. Not being scared. Let me check a better translation. Okay, confusion. Yeah. Oh yeah, of course. Sorry. So on the teacher's face was full of confusion. 마주하다, having seen. 벌어지다 is to happen, like something that happens. So 벌어진 일, the thing that had happened. 실제 눈 앞에, actually in front of her eyes, literally. So after actually seeing what had happened right in front of her, her face was filled with confusion. So even though she already had heard what had happened before from Junyoungi, when she actually saw what was right in front of her eyes, her face was filled with confusion. Let's check the English translation. She heard what happened from Junyoung, but actually seeing it with her own eyes filled her face with horror and confusion. Where did the horror? They just added their own words in here. Why did they add their own word in here? There's no horror. She's not scared. They just made her scared in the English translation. But yeah, it definitely confusion. Calling out us lurkers. Yeah, I'm sorry. You don't have to. I'm not going to force lurkers to participate. I'm a lurker a lot. Usually I go in other people's streams. I don't talk. But yeah, you're good. You can just chill. I'm just curious who's watching. I'm curious if you want to just play and explain or have some back and forth. Oh yeah, feel free to, any questions you got. I'm fine like expanding on stuff or talking about other stuff.
우선 보건실로 옮겨서 안정을 취하고 얘기를 들어봐야겠어요.
Okay. 우선, first of all, 보건실 is the school's, not the 양호실, which is the infirmary. 보건실 would be like the school health office. 옮기다, to move. So first we gotta move her to the health office, and then 안정을 취하고 get her safe, and then 얘기를 들어봐야겠어요. Then we gotta hear her story. This English says we need to move her to the infirmary and ensure she's fine before asking her what happened.
네, 그러죠.
Yes, 그러죠 is like, yeah, let's do that. Literally. The English translation says, yes, of course. But it's not really of course, it's just like, you're right, is what she says. Anyway.
반장,
반장, here we go again. Class president.
네?
Yes?
교장 선생님 보건실로 모셔와.
Okay. 교장 선생님 is 교, school, 장, leader. 선생님 is just the title to refer to the, because you can't just say school leader by itself, so you have to put a title after that. 교장 선생님 would be the principal. So 모시다 is a polite way of saying 데리다, to bring someone specifically. It has a couple other meanings too, but here it's basically 데리다, to bring a person. So, but it's an honorific version. So, or I shouldn't even say, it doesn't have to be honorific, but yeah, it's a polite version. So bring the principal to the health office.
네.
Okay. Oh, we're going through this much faster. Such a better pace with the English translation. That way we can confirm stuff.
남나야, 잠깐만.
Wait, just a second. Who is Namna? I can't remember. Oh, that's right. That's the girl whose the badge is covering her. I'm sorry. They introduced 6 characters in the first minute of the game, and I'm still like learning their names. But I remember he's Junyoung, and the teacher's Miss Park, and the student that collapsed was Hyunju, and that's all that I can think about right now.
보건실 다녀오다가 봤는데 교장 선생님 밖으로 나가시던데.
Okay. 보건실 다녀오다가 봤는데 so I saw this while I was coming back from the 보건실, from the health office. Yeah. 교장 선생님 밖으로 나가시던데. So the principal 밖으로 나가다. So she went outside. I saw that the teacher had gone outside actually. This 던데 ending is literally just the past tense 던 with the 대 form, as in like, hey, I saw the teacher leaving, 대, which is basically like, something happened, what do you think about it? Is what it implies. So it's like, hey, but I saw the teacher just go outside. It kind of implies that your sentence isn't done and you want the person listening to react to it. So that's the nuance of it. But it's a really common ending. But like I said, it's very simple how it works, but it ends up being used in a very specific way. So anytime you're recalling a fact from the past and you want someone to comment on it, you're like, hey, but this happened. That's the 던데 form. Exactly.
그럼 네가 뒤쪽 화단 중심으로 찾아줘.
I should note that the ni for you is actually not supposed to be written as ni. It's supposed to be written as ne, like the correct way. Not ne as in my, but ne as in you, as in your. It's supposed to be written that way and just pronounced as ni. In case you're wondering, this writer just wrote it as ni, but it's technically spelled the regular way and just pronounced always as ni. So that's another one of those things in Korean where it's not written the way it's said at all. But if you write it as ni, it's actually dialect. So it's like Busan dialect would actually write it as ni and some other areas will write it, but it's supposed to be written the regular way and they know that, they just pronounce it as ni. So, okay, you go in the back. Hadan is like a flower area, like garden with flowers. 중심으로 찾아줘. So go find him out in the garden area. 뒤쪽, in the back. 뒤쪽, sorry, in the back of the school. So you saw the teacher go out. Okay, go find him.
난 교장실 들렀다가 교문 쪽으로 가볼게.
Her voice sounds really calm. I'm just listening to she sounds like she's really calm recording this. Anyway, for me, 교장실, so the principal's office, 들렀다가, so I'm going to stop at the principal's office, and then 다가 after that I'm going to go somewhere else. 교문, which is the main gate, you can call it. They also call it 정문, but anyway, 교문 would be like the school's main gate that's out in front. 쪽으로 가볼게. So I'm going to first stop by the principal's office, and then I'm going to go out to the main gate in front of school.
알았어.
I got it. Okay.
부반장은 이병찬 선생님 어디서 수업 중인지 찾아서 알려주고.
So we had the 반장, but there's also a 부반장. Anytime you see 부 in front of a word, it can be vice. So like, in this case, it's the vice 반장, the vice class president. 이병찬, that's right, the teacher's name was Lee, 이병찬. So that the crazy teacher, the zombie crazy teacher, I guess, 어디서 수업 중인지 찾아서 알려주고. So the vice class president, I want you to tell me, so go find where, what class the teacher is currently in the middle of. 수업 중. 어디서, where they are currently in the middle of class, and then let me know. So English says, Vice President, find out which class Mr. Lee is in. So
네.
Chongsan is the vice president in class.
현주, 계단을 내려가려면 들것이 필요할 것 같은데요.
Okay. As for Hyunju, so that's the girl that collapsed. 계단을 내려가다 is like to go down the stairs. So if we're going to go down the stairs, 내려가려고 하면, so if our intention is to take her down the stairs, 들것 is something, literally something to carry her with. 들것이 필요할 것 같은데요. So I think we're gonna need like something to carry her with if we're gonna go down the stairs. I don't know, the English translation says stretcher. I actually don't know if that's the regular word for stretcher. Let me check. Yeah, that is the actual word for stretcher, is literally something to carry her with. Interesting, I learned a new word today. But anyway, that's what it means. We're going to need a stretcher if we're going to carry her down the stairs.
아니면 업을 수 있는 남자 선생님이라도 부르는 게.
Or 부르는 게 낫겠다 is what she's implying. So it would be good to call at least a 남자 선생님이라도. Is like at least 이라도. A male teacher who can 없다 is to carry something on your shoulders. Specifically, it's like how Luke Skywalker carries Yoda in The Empire Strikes Back. Like that's 없다. It's not like wearing a backpack that's not 없다. This is carrying something over your shoulder. Typically, it's a person. So carrying a person over your shoulder. So if we don't have a stretcher, then then at least maybe it would be good to call like a male teacher who can carry her on his shoulders. She's emotionless in the drama. 인력거. Oh yeah, like what do you call it? Rickshaw, I think. Is that what it is? Yeah, that's right. I've never once used that word. But that is the word. 인력거. Rickshaw. Because you don't use rickshaws in Korea. I've never seen them. Have I? No. Have I ever seen a rickshaw? I'm trying to think. Have I ever once seen a rickshaw, even at a tourist place? No, I can't think of one time I've ever seen a rickshaw in Korea, even back in 2005 when I first went there. It's just not a thing. It'd be kind of cool to take a rickshaw around. I mean, they have them in Korea. I'm not saying they don't exist, but I'm just saying they are not like a thing that you can grab on the side of the street. It would be cool if they had rickshaws that would go around the, like outside of Gyeongbokgung or something like that. Like imagine you rent a hanbok and then a rickshaw takes you around or it takes you around like the inside of the palace. That'd be kind of cool. I would do that. It's just too busy, I think. So maybe that's why they don't do it.
아니요, 제가 업을게요.
No, I'll carry her over my shoulders. Yeah, literally human-powered car. 인력거. Yeah, and ko is interesting. There are actually a lot of hanja that have different readings depending on how they're used. Ta is one of them for car, but also ta for tea is another one. Because like if you're drinking tea, that's also ta. However, if ta is the first syllable in a word, it's not pronounced as ta often. It becomes pronounced as ta. So that's why you have the word like tabang. Although I'm not going to talk about that. That's a different topic. But traditionally, that would be like a coffee house. Anyway. Or like tea house, I guess.
현주가 안정을 찾을 때까지는 아는 사람은 최소한으로 조용히 처리해야 해요.
Okay. 안정을 찾다 is like to find her safety. So until we've gotten her safe, until she has become more safe, I guess. 아는 사람을 최소한으로. So at the very least, 아는 사람, someone that we know, or people that we know. So at very least, we have to keep this within people that we know, is what she's saying. 조용히 처리해야 해요. We have to take care of this. 처리하다 is like to take care of. 조용히, quietly. So we got to take care of this quietly at most as possible, just within people that we know, until she's safe. Yeah, though fortunately Korean doesn't have a really big issue with that. There are some words that you'll see that have like different, and I'm not talking about like this word pronounced like 여자 becoming 녀 when it's used after it, when it's not the first. That's not what I'm talking about. That's a different rule. That's like 투음법칙, which I made a video about. That's for like the N and the L sound. That's different. This is for actual different sounds that Hanja words have. And most Hanja has one, but a lot of Hanja has two. A really common one that I can think of is pur for not. Pur is also pu and pur. Ko is another pretty big one. This one totally looks different. Ko and ta totally sound different. Ta and ta, which aren't as different, that they're kind of similar because ta and ta can have the same kind of sound anyway. Okay.
여학생 2명만 선생님 도와줄래?
Okay, just two 여학생, two female students. So two of you, do two of you want to come help the teacher? And she's calling out to the girls. Okay. I think I just spit on myself. I like yawn. Okay. So the students, all of them, 모두들 고개를 숙이다 is to lower your head. Like, you can use it for bowing, but it's also here it's used for lowering your head. 외면하다 is to, I believe it's to not look. Let me just check because it's not a common word. Yeah, exactly. 외면 is, I think I can guess. It's gonna be way outside and 면 look. It is. Booyah. Okay. So literally way is outside, 면 is look or face. So faced away or looked away in that case. So all the students 고개 숙여 외면했대. They all tilted their heads down and looked away. And specifically they looked away at the 선생님의 시선, the teacher's sights, the teacher's gaze. And the teacher was 교실을 돌아보다, looking around the class. 도움을 바라며 교실을 돌아보는 선생님. So the teacher was looking around the class and looking for help. So let's see the English translation. Everyone lowered their heads as Miss Park's eyes darted around the classroom. It's okay. It's not bad. 도와줘야 한다는 마음을 가진 사람이 단 하나도 없을 리는 없었다. There could not have been. 리 is like reason. So like 없을 리 is there wasn't a reason that there 하나도, not 단 is just. 단 하나도, just even one. So there wasn't a reason for there to not even be even one person who 도와줘야 한다는 마음을 가진 사람. Someone who feels like they have to help. So it couldn't have been that there wasn't even one person who felt like that they had to help. So of course there was someone who felt like they had to help. So it wasn't that. And the English translation got that too. It wasn't that no one in the class didn't have the heart to help her. Anyway, this is a bit of a complicated sentence because of the way it's structured, but however, 하지만 누구도 선뜻 나서지 않았다. However, no one, 선뜻 is like willingly, and 나서다 is like to come forward. However, no one willingly came forward. Okay, so let's check the English. But not one stepped forth to help. That's a dumb translation. Because it's not like stepped forth. It's just like come forward. It's not a fancy word. 나서다. And 선뜻 is also not translated at all. They just gave up on that one. Okay. 도움을 요청하는 박선화 선생님 어떡하지? So what should Miss Park do? Miss Park's asking for help, and what should she do? Should she 일단 눈치를 보고 just see if you can 눈치, see if you can look at the situational awareness, see how things are going. So just wait basically and see if someone raises their hand or if someone seems like they want to help. Or what we can do is 나라도 먼저 지원하자. At least I'm gonna volunteer first. So maybe like the teacher is saying maybe at least I'm gonna volunteer. I would ask you what to do, but I actually want to follow what this person does because I think they oh, so this isn't the teacher volunteer, this is the student, but we don't know who it is. I guess it's us? Because I clicked, and the person who does the speed run, what they did is they actually clicked I'm gonna volunteer, but then it shows one of the students volunteering. So I guess this is our perspective, but I didn't know what student we were playing as. Okay, so I'm just gonna click at least I'll volunteer first.
제가
I will, again, this is not a complete sentence, just so you know, I'm pointing that out. The English says, I'll help, but like I said, it's not a complete sentence. She's like, okay. 실망한 듯 우리를 둘러보는 박선화 선생님의 시선이 안쓰러웠을까? So, perhaps the teacher's gaze looked not guilty. So the teacher was 둘러보다, looking around at us as if she is 실망하다, as if she is disappointed. I'll set up line. Yeah, okay. I was like, that's not, because the guilty part, because I was looking at the English and it's like guilty. I'm like, that's not what it is. 안쓰럽다. So like, sad, pitiful. So perhaps the teacher's gaze looked pitiful as she's looking around and she looked disappointed. So maybe the reason that's why I'm saying yes is because I felt sorry. I felt bad for the teacher that looked disappointed. Okay. Yeah, I would have picked that option anyway, but you know, we'll get other options in the future, but I do want to kind of follow what they do here. Unless it doesn't really make a big difference. 나도 모르게 손을 들어버리고 말았다. So 나도 모르게 is like even I didn't know, but it's kind of like this. 나도 모르게 is used literally mean that, but it's actually how you say unconsciously. So I unconsciously 손을 들다, like raised my hand. 들어버리고 말았다. I just raised my hand. Or I just ended up raising my hand without even realizing it. Just unconsciously.
그럼 나도.
Then me too. Okay, that's pretty easy.
고맙다.
Thanks.
현주 부축해서 업힐 수 있게 도와줘.
현주 부축해서 업힐 수 있게 도와줘. So help 현주 so that she can go on my back. Lift her up. 부축하다. Let me get a better translation. Support. Let me think. Yeah, just help. So yeah, help Hyunju so that she can be put up on my back. So let's see what the English says. Thank you. Please help Hyunju and lift her onto my back. Maybe just please help Hyunju up onto my back, or please help lift Hyunju up onto my back would be a little better. Anyway, it's okay. 이삭이와 나는 현주를 부축하기 위해 팔을 들고 몸을 감싸 안았다. So 감싸 is like wrapping. So I held around her body and 팔 들고 lifted up her arm and held around her body like that in order to 부축하기 위해, so that I could lift her up together with 이삭이와. So together with Isak, I, 온조, put her arm, lifted up her arm and grabbed her body so that we could lift her up. Let's see what the English says. Isak and I held her up with her arms around our neck and our hands around her hips. Yeah, that paints a better picture. 과학 선생님과 비슷한, 아니 한층 더 지독한 악취가 코를 찔러왔다. So, 과학 선생님, that science teacher, remember the zombie guy? 과 비슷한, so something similar to the science teacher. No, 아니 한층 더, one level more. 지독하다 is like foul. 지독한 악취, a foul, terrible odor. 코를 찌르다 is like to pierce your nose. It's literally just like something smells horrible. 찔러왔다, so pierced my nose. More horrible smell, even worse than that teacher suddenly pierced my nose, kind of like that. 반 친구들이 선뜻 나서서 도와줄 수 없었던, 모두를 망설이게 만든 원인이 바로 이 악취였다. So the reason, I'm going to skip to the bottom part where it says 원인. 원인 is the key of this sentence when we translate it. So the 원인 is the reason or the cause. The reason was exactly 바로 이 악취, was this terrible smell. That this reason was what? 모두를 망설이게 만들다. To make everyone, 망설이다 is like to wait for something, to procrastinate, to delay, to not do anything. So this is exactly the reason why, the reason that made every single person not help, that made them all wait, was 반 친구, the classmates, 선뜻, readily, willingly, 나서다, to go forward, to go out, to come out, to help, like to step up, 도와줄 수 없었던. So this smell was exactly the reason why no one else in class wanted to help or volunteer, basically. The English says the reason why the other classmates wouldn't bring themselves to help her, why they were so hesitant, was because of this smell. Yeah, that's okay. This one would take a little longer to translate since the sentence is broken up.
현주야, 아파도 조금만 참아.
현주, 아파도, even though you're hurting, 조금만 참아, so just bear it just a little bit. Kind of like hang on. And the English says, 현주, just hold on. Okay. 하지만 이삭이는 내색조차 하지 않았다. But 이삭이 didn't even have what kind of expression is that? Yeah. She didn't have any expression, basically. Desek was like your outward appearance. Anyway, so she didn't even have any sort of expression though. And the English says, but Isak kept calm. Okay. 나 역시 그래야 한다고 생각했다. Of course I thought I had to. Okay, I'm just skipping ahead here. 나 역시 그래야 한다고 생각했다. So I thought, of course, I have to do that. So I also didn't react. I also put on no face, basically. Okay. I think we're good for today.
아까도 얘기했지만 진상이 밝혀지면 모두 다 얘기해 줄게.
Yeah, I think we'll go. I think this is good for today. I just wanted to do an hour. But, yeah, because I do still have to finish up a video. Hold on. Am I like... There we go. Okay. We'll just do this. 아까도 얘기했지만, so I told you also just a little bit ago, but 진상이 밝혀지면, when the situation is revealed, literally, but once everything's figured out, 모두 다 얘기해줄게. I'll tell you guys all of it. So here the English says, as I said earlier, once we figure out what happened, I'll tell you everything. Kind of, yeah. So once everything's figured out and everything's uncovered, I'll tell you it all.
단
I gotta
억측이나
go back.
이상한 소문으로 누군가 피해받는 일 없도록 조금만 입 조심해줬으면
Hold on, I gotta
좋겠다.
go back.
아까도 얘기했지만 진상이 밝혀지면 모두 다 얘기해 줄게.
Okay, we can just chat for a bit. Yeah, it is a little better now. I definitely think it got better. I didn't like the beginning because of how many characters we were getting thrown at once, but now that they're not throwing more characters at us at all, so it's getting a little better. I'm trying to learn their names. Yeah, and I like that I have the video open in another tab. That it's really helpful. Because we can go through this way faster like this. I mean, if we were playing this in English, so far we've been playing the game for like almost 3 hours, but we're only through, if I check this playthrough video, we're only through 20 minutes of the video, like 25 minutes. So it took us 3 hours to go through 23, 24 minutes of the game at a regular like speed if you just click through. But that's kind of normal, I guess, if you're trying to translate stuff, it does take longer. I don't know, any other thing you want to talk about? I'll hang out for just a couple minutes and then we'll take off for today. How's everyone doing? Was fun to watch, even though I'm cutting and have no idea what's happening. Yeah, that's fine. I don't really have any idea what's happening too. But basically, the story goes that we get introduced to 6 kids at school. There's a teacher, a science teacher that smells really bad. And the friends are kind of like, some of them are friends, 2 of them are dating, a couple of them don't like each other. And suddenly in class, this girl walks in and she has like bruises and she's like dying. So that's where we're at. And then the teacher's like, oh, we gotta help her, what's going on? So I guess we're gonna find out that, oh, and then that she said that the teacher had her locked up. So we're probably gonna end up finding out this teacher, the science teacher, is some evil zombie guy who smells, I guess. I have no idea. Yeah, and like you'll notice that the sentences do not translate in English, because when you get to real Korean sentences, especially sentences that are written to be read, not necessarily written to be said, that's when you start getting difficult sentences that are hard to translate. Whereas dialogue is fairly simple, but the narration part is what's going to be really hard to translate, because that's always like written a little bit more like poetically. All right, I think that's good. I'm good to, I just about to sleep soon. All right, yeah, I'm not going to sleep soon, but I'm going to go back to work. I have a video for recommending my top 15 small YouTube channels coming up this Friday, which I just finished editing a couple days ago. And then I also have the week after that, a video recommending my top 15 podcasts. Although I'm not sure, do I want to make that next week or the week after that? I haven't really decided, but anyway, yeah, something like that. I've got those coming up. And then after that will be my cheat sheets video with all my, I really want to share these. I just can't because I have to upload so many other videos before that, but they're all done. They're all ready. And these will be completely free to download. I'll put them on my Patreon page, but they'll be free. So you don't have to pay any money for them. You can just join the Patreon feed for free and still get them all 6 in high quality. And then I'm also going to have an option to purchase printed versions. But I don't know what to do about that, because if I use printed, like if I do printed ordering feature from the merchandise company that I use, the website Spring, I can set up a poster and sell it, but I would have to sell the poster for $30 per poster. I don't know if that's a good value. Like, I don't know what you normally pay for a poster. I don't buy posters, but I want to have an option where people can buy a printed one if they don't want to, like maybe they don't want to print it out, or they just want something bigger or higher quality. Because I'm not going to upload these in like million pixel by million pixel. I'm just going to upload them in the regular size so you could print them at home. But if someone wants to get like a giant poster version, that's what I was going to be selling. But it's like expensive. But if I sell it for cheaper, then it's like I'm not making any money from it. So I don't know. So I'll think about that a little more. But if you have any, yeah, I know it's high. That's the thing. But like the base fee that they have for it is like $15. So if I sell it for 20, then someone's paying $20 and $4 of that is going to me. So it's kind of like they'll think they supported me for $20, but they didn't. So I would raise the price so that they actually support me more. But then you raise it to an amount that's reasonable. And I mean, that's like, okay, now they're actually supporting me. But then it makes it so it's really expensive. I mean, I could lower it to 25, but I couldn't lower it anymore. The other option would be if I used a different service for printing it, or if I just said, donate to get the high quality file. Like you can get I don't know. If you have any opinions on that, I'm open to it. I haven't decided, but 100% the regular versions of these is going to be free. So like, it'll just be like a JPEG file that's big enough to print it at home. But maybe I could say like, hey, if you want a high quality version that has like, 10,000 pixels by 10,000 pixels, like something you could blow up and put on a poster, you have to donate for that. But then the problem is one person's going to get that, they're going to distribute it, and someone else is going to sell it and delete my little tiny, branding I have at the bottom. There's no watermark. There's just a tiny little branding. Kinko's can do massive printing. Yeah, they do. And it's not that cheap though. I think if you were to do this at really big, you'd probably end up spending $10 anyway for like to get this printed on a poster. Probably they'd probably charge you something like that, maybe like $8 to $10 for a poster print, maybe more. So charging $15 or $20 would be totally reasonable, but if I charge $15, I make nothing. If I charge $20, I make like $4. So I'd have to at least charge $25. I don't know. Like I said, if it was just me, if I didn't have to care about money at all, it would just be free. It's just free. Like I wouldn't even put it on Patreon because that's kind of hoping that people will join my Patreon and maybe donate. But I wouldn't even put it on Patreon. Just be like, here's a Google link to download the original SVG file, unlimited resolution, the full quality. You can blow this up as big as you want. Put it on the side of a barn. But actually, they are surprisingly readable on a regular page. Like, no problem, because I spent a lot of time designing these. I selected fonts that are really easy to read in English and Korean. So even though the fonts, like some of these fonts, like this one, anyway, this one, the fonts go down to size 6. Like, I would never print something size 6 in English, but this font is really clear. So because it's a really straight font, even at size 6, you can read this easily. So yeah, no problem if you print it out and look at it. In fact, that's probably what I would recommend. Just print it out with a home printer. It's big enough. But some people are going to want to blow it up and put it on their wall. You know, like a 2 foot high kind of posters, just for easy reference. And those ones I'll sell, but I don't know. Yeah, I'm really happy about these. This year I've done 2 projects. Actually, I guess 3, because I did my second reading book, and then I did the conversation course. I'm really proud of it. I'm happy about that. I wish I had that when I was a beginner. And then these cheat sheets, which I really wish I had when I was a beginner, because I was expecting that I would not be able to get everything onto one page for all the topics I did. I was like, there's no way I'm going to get all the sound changes on one page, but I'll do my best. And I did my best, and they all got on one page, which is kind of funny. I was like, whoa, hey, they all fit, like, nicely too, like really nice. But I did spend a lot of time. I made like mock-ups. Like, I sketched a mock-up of where each thing would go and what information would go in, and moved around a lot before I even started. And then I made a draft as pretty as I could, and then I took that draft and started a new file and rearranged everything. So I think I spent like 3 days on the sound change rules one to make it look good. Anyway, yeah, I would get those. Even if you're not a beginner, they're beginner cheat sheets, but they are for anyone of any level, because legitimately the sound change rules worksheet is like legitimately good for any level. It's got so much stuff on it. And then, you know, the other ones are good for beginners, but I'd say the sound change rule is good for anyone. And then verb conjugation, I think, is good for intermediates as well. And then the other ones are just for beginners. Like Hangul, you're not going to need to know. I mean, you still need to know. There's still some stuff you'll probably learn if you're intermediate level, but mostly it's going to be for beginners. Like stroke order, you know, the dictionary order, the names of the letters, all that stuff is learned within the beginner level typically. Okay, anyway, it's good seeing everyone. I'm going to definitely do another stream next week. I'm sorry I didn't do one last week. I was planning on doing a live stream last week on Monday, and then I got too busy because I did filming on Tuesday, and then I couldn't do anything Wednesday or Thursday. I was just editing all day, and Friday came along and I was editing again, so I'm like, I'll just do it on Wednesday. So I'll do another one definitely next week. Maybe this week again if I have time, but 100% at least another one next week. So yeah, take care everyone. See you next time. I gotta say the thing. 그럼 다음에 또 봐.